Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my science class. So, students, today we will cover the topic distance time graph from the chapter Motion and Time of class 7 science book. In this chapter, we have studied about what is speed. So, what is speed? Distance covered per unit time is called as speed. And one more important point, speed is directly proportional to the distance. So that means if the distance is increasing, the speed will also increase and inversely proportional to time, which means if the time is if a vehicle is taking more time to cover a particular distance, that means its speed is less, and if it is taking less time, then its speed is more. So we have few formulas for this topic. First is to find out the speed. We have the formula. We have to divide distance with time. So we will get the speed. That means if a vehicle is moving with a speed of 30 km per hour and it takes distance is 30 kilometers and time is 1 hour, the speed will be 30 kilometers per hour. For the time, the formula is distance divided by the speed, and for the distance, the formula is speed into time. So these are the formulas for speed, time and distance. We have average speed also. So to calculate average speed, we just have to add all the distances to find out the total distance, and we have to divide it with the total time. Now let us see the different units of distance, time and speed. So the unit for time we use is seconds, minutes and hours. The unit for distance is meter and kilometers, and for speed it is kilometer per hour or meter per second. So these are the different standard units of measurement for time, distance and speed. And we have two instruments. We have studied about two instruments. First is speedometer, and what is this? It is a device which is used in vehicles such as cars and trucks, and it measures the speed. And odometer, and this device is also present in vehicles and it measures the distance covered or distance traveled. So this is a speedometer. As you can see, this is 20, 40, 60. It can be in miles per hour also. It can be in kilometers per hour also. So this is a speedometer, and in the vehicle you can see this type of reading. This is the odometer, which gives the distance covered by the vehicle in kilometers. Now let us see how can we convert the different units. We have the speed in kilometer per hour, and now if we want to convert it into meter per second, we just have to divide it with 5 by 18. You have to multiply it with 5 by 18. If the speed is 1 kilometer per hour, then in meter per second it will be 5 by 18 meter per second. And if we have the speed in meter per second, then we have to multiply the value with 18 by 5 to convert it to kilometer per hour. So this was the conversion. Now let us see, can you find out? A boy runs from one side of a park to the other side. The length of the park is 80 meters. The boy takes exactly 16 seconds to cross the park. Find out the speed of the boy. So what you have to do? You have to find out the speed. And what is the formula for speed? Distance traveled divided by time taken. So here the distance is 80 meters and the time is 16 seconds. So you have to divide it. So the distance which the boy travels and the time taken are available. The formula for speed is distance divided by time. So it will be 80 meters divided by 16 seconds, which is 5 meter per second. So the speed of the boy will be 5 meters per second. In this chapter, we have also studied about the simple pendulum and time period. So what is a simple pendulum? Simple pendulum consists of a metallic bob. This is the metallic bob which is suspended by a long thread. This is the thread, and there is a rigid support so that the bob is free to swing back and forth, back and forth. So this is a simple pendulum, and you can see the motion. If this is the position, original position, that is A, so it will first it moves to one end like B, then it will move back to A, and then it will move to C, and then back to A. So this to and fro motion, a complete this to and fro motion from A to B, then back to A, and then to C, and then back to A. This forms a complete one oscillation. And what is time period? The time period of a simple pendulum is the time taken by pendulum bob to make one complete oscillation, which means the time which it took from here to here and then back here. One oscillation is called as time period. Now let us see how can we calculate the time period. So time period is equal to total time taken divided by total number of oscillations. For a pendulum, the time period is very short. We cannot calculate one oscillations time. So what we do, we calculate like 20 oscillations, and we note down the time taken by the pendulum to complete the total 20 oscillations, and then we divide it. We write the total time taken like 20 seconds divided by number of oscillations. Suppose if it is 10, then it will become 2 seconds. So the unit for time period will be seconds. Now time period of a given pendulum is always constant. If you have a pendulum, so whatever how much speed or whatever the different parameters are, it will always remain constant, and the time period of a pendulum depends on its length. Now let us move to the next part of this chapter, which is types of graphs. So we all have studied a different number of different types of graphs, like the bar graph. This is a bar graph, and this graph shows data changes over a period of time or comparison with some specific individual value. So this is a bar graph. This is a pie chart. What is a pie chart? It shows or it displays the contribution of each value to a total value. Like here, composition of air is given. So in the air, we have 21% out of the total atmosphere or atmospheric gases. 21% is oxygen, 78% is nitrogen, and 1% are other gases. So it shows value out of total value. Now the third type of graph is line chart or line graph, and this displays continuous data over a period of time. Like this graph is showing the temperature changes over a period of time, like in a week. On day 1, that is Monday, the temperature was this one, Tuesday this one, Wednesday this one. So this is a line chart. So we are going to study this chart in detail because we have to draw or we have to analyze the distance time graph to compare the speed or to decipher or infer about the speed of a vehicle. So now let us start with the line chart or distance time graph. So the basic details, this is a graph paper, and we have this y-axis and the x-axis. This is the center or point of origin, which is marked as O. And on the right side, we have the positive x-axis. On the left side we have the negative x-axis, and here this is the positive y-axis, and below this line this is the negative y-axis. So for the distance time graph we will use this area, the positive area of the graph paper. We divide the graph into 4 parts, and this is the positive side. Both x-axis are in positive and y-axis are in positive. So we take this part for the distance time graph. So now let us see how can we make the graph. I am telling you the steps. You have to follow those steps and you can draw the distance time graph. So this is a graph paper. As you can see, it has small boxes, and these are the darker lines, and it has small boxes inside it. If you will count, you will find that there are total 10 boxes inside these 2 darker lines. So this distance is 1 centimeter, and it is divided into 10 parts. That means each marking is of 1 millimeter, and this is 1 centimeter. Now first of all you have to draw 2 perpendicular lines. What are perpendicular lines? Which form a 90-degree angle. So this is the 2 perpendicular lines, and you have to mark it. This is the point of joining, which you have to mark as O. That is the point of origin. You have seen the graph. It has 4 different. It was divided into 4 parts. I have taken the part which I have told you that we will use this part only for the distance time graph. Now you have to, this is the x-axis, so you just mark it OX, and this is the y-axis, so y. So this is OX and this is y. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Now you have to decide the quantity to be shown on the x-axis and the y-axis. Like here I am showing time on the x-axis and distance on the y-axis. So I will then write here time in hours and distance in kilometers on the below the x-axis and here in the y-axis. Now then we have to choose a scale to represent the distance and time on the graph. So this is the scale. You have to write what scale you have used. What is the scale? This 1 centimeter, what this 1 centimeter represent on the x-axis, or what this 1 centimeter represent on y-axis. So I have taken 1 centimeter as 1 hour. So this is 1 hour, this is 2 hour, this is 3 hour, 4 hour, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And here the scale for y-axis is 1 centimeter is equal to 20 kilometers. So this first block is of 20 kilometers, then next block is of 20 more. So 20 plus 20 is 40. Then I have added 20 more to every block. So this is the scale. So the scale is a must. All I am telling you the elements of the graph which you have to write when you are making a graph. So you will write this one. Then I have a table. Here I have mentioned the table so that I can plot a graph. For plotting a graph you need the data. So this is the data, the time. At 0 hour the distance moved by a car or a vehicle is 0 kilometers. After 1 hour the vehicle covered 30 kilometers. After 2 hours the vehicle covered 80 kilometers, and after 3 hours the vehicle covered 100 kilometers. So you have to plot this. How will you plot? At 0 the vehicle covered 0 kilometers. So you will mark dotted lines. This is 0. So you will start marking dotted lines. It will come out to be here because 1 kilometer and 20 and 40, in between 20 and 40 there are 10 markings, so you have to mark the in between 20 and 40 exactly. So it will come out to be here. If you are not very sure, you can do one thing. Just draw straight lines, dotted lines like this, and wherever they meet, like 1 kilometer, 1 hour and 30 kilometers, you have to mark it. And here it is meeting, so this is your first point. Now the second is, first point is this one at 0 kilometers and 0 hours. This is the first point. This is the second point. Now the third point is at 2 hours. The distance covered is 80 kilometers. So what you have to do, you will draw dotted lines. I'm so sorry, my lines are a little, I need to use the scale, but it will take more of time, so I'm using the mouse only. So this is our third point, and then the fourth point is at 3 hours, the distance covered is 100 kilometers. So again, I have to draw the dotted line for after 3 hours, the distance covered is 100 kilometers. So here our next point will be here. And now what you have to do? You have to just join all these points using this ruler. So here is the ruler, and now I am going to join these lines. I have to undo this because the line is a little thicker. Now again I am drawing this. So this is our distance time graph. You can see the graph. Can you all see the graph? So these are the different points, and when we join all those points, this line graph is the distance time graph. Let us make one more graph. I have this data. This is the x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis I have written time in hours and distance in kilometers. If the data is given in seconds and kilometer distance in meters, then also the same graph, just change the units. Here also we have to change the units. Now in this table, at 0 hour the distance traveled is 0, so I have put a dot here. Then after 1 hour the distance traveled is 30 kilometers. So this is 30 kilometers, 1 hour. You have to mark with dotted lines. Then after 2 hours distance covered is 60 kilometers. So this is the intersection of 2 hours and 60 kilometers. Then after 3 hours the distance covered is 90 kilometers. So here is this point. Now we will join all these points using a scale. So you can see all these points are in a straight line. So this is the distance time graph in this case. So you can see here the line is absolutely straight. And now let us see the third condition. Here, as you can see the table, the first point at 0, after 1 hour the vehicle traveled 30 kilometers. After 2 hours also it has covered 30 kilometers. What does this mean? That the vehicle is at rest, and after 3 hours it has covered 60 kilometers. So let us first draw the lines and then we'll discuss. So here is the graph of this table. This area, particularly this area, this straight line, which is parallel to the x-axis, this suggests that the object is at rest or the object is not moving. So we have studied three types of graphs. Let us see all those three. So this is the first graph, and it is not a straight line. If you want to draw it, you have to move your scale twice or thrice. If it would have straight line, it will go like this, but it's not a straight line. So this is non-uniform motion. At different periods of time, at different intervals of time, the vehicle is moving with a different speed. So this is non-uniform motion. Now the second graph which we saw was this one, in which the distance time graph was a straight line. That means the vehicle was moving at a uniform speed. So this is an example of uniform motion. Now the third graph, which we studied, was this one. Here, this is also non-uniform motion. This is also non-uniform motion because it's not a straight line, and in this case here, the vehicle is moving with is at rest. So when the graph is a line parallel to the x-axis, then we can say that the object is not moving. Okay, let me draw this. I'm going to draw this type of a graph in which the vehicle, for the first hour, vehicle moved to 60 kilometers, and then a parallel line is there from the x-axis. Then this straight line suggests a vehicle is at rest. It is not moving at all. So we have studied about these three different types of graphs. So we have studied about the distance time graph, how can we make this graph, and what is uniform motion, non-uniform motion, and object at rest. So please practice all these three graphs. Thank you, students.